This is Carolyn Bellama, and you're watching Muscle in the Morning.
Welcome to the weekend edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs, the most hardcore bodybuilding supplements on the market. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, and I'm here to bring you all the latest news in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. It's Friday, July 4th, 2014, and on today's show, Jeff Long wins the Battle of the Runway, Mateo Edwards, Chicago game plan, Chica Aluca's fitness debut, hardcore training in Africa, and it's all business for Jojo de Faro. All that and much, much more only on Muscle in the Morning. IFBB Pro Jeff Long has been hard at work since the Toronto Pro Show, and despite making some waves with the risque spray tanning photo that went viral, the hardworking young pro has set his sights on the IFBB Chicago Pro. Long hopes this will be the contest where he makes his mark, winning his first pro show and qualifying for the Mr. Olympia. With a fan page now far exceeding 250,000 fans, all eyes are on this young gun to strike it big in the Windy City. After arriving in Chicago, Long had this to say to Muscle in the Morning. Quote, I literally came straight from the airport to train after spending 5 hours on a flight that should have only lasted 2. Delays sitting on the runway were terrible. I missed meals, but I made it to Chicago. I have a solid coach in Matt Jensen, who's been helping me make daily changes to my diet and cardio, and my wife has been there for me since day one. Also, my new sponsor, Olymp Sport Nutrition, chose to sign me to a multi-year deal. I'm the first American athlete. Will Chicago prove to be Jeff Long's date with destiny? Stay tuned to rxmuscle.com all weekend long for updates, live play-by-play, and exclusive contest photos. Sometimes it's not just a question of diet and training. Sometimes even a seasoned pro needs to go back to the basics. Reassess their posing, on-stage demeanor, and go through all the motions to determine what areas need the most improvement. This has been a very big year for IFBB Pro Mateo Edwards, but like any true perfectionist, he continually wants to get better. In the hours leading up to the Chicago Pro, Mateo had this to say to Muscle in the Morning. Quote, in the last few weeks of my prep, my coach Isa Abdallah and I made some changes in our approach to training. This has enabled me to be fuller and denser at the same time keeping those classic lines. I've also improved on my presentation. I think my lack of aggressiveness in the comparison rounds impacted my placing at the Toronto Pro. Big thanks to my mentors Christine Enval and John Meadows and my sponsors JW Foods and Liquid Muscle. This next story is of special significance for a number of reasons. For starters, it's about a young woman whose name I simply love, Chica Aluca. Secondly, the ink on her IFBB Pro card hasn't even dried and she's ready to compete in her first pro fitness event. In a phone call with Muscle in the Morning's Christian Duke, Aluca revealed that she's super excited to get to the pro competitors check-in where she'll be meeting up with ladies she's looked up to for all these years. According to the new fitness pro, quote, I'm so very excited to make my pro debut and so grateful to everyone at rxmuscle.com for giving me the exposure that you did. I only compete to win and I know I'm going to put forth a great effort tomorrow. Kabila Sampson is a 24-year-old bodybuilder from Ghana, West Africa, and he's got a very unique story to tell. Sampson's bodybuilding journey is so different because he's been able to pack on serious muscle mass on a very aesthetic physique without the aid of supplements or even a modern-day gym. Heck, this guy whips up gari, a popular West African carb made from cassava tubers, in a clay pot over a homemade fire. And the gym he trains at makes Cedric McMillan's homemade wood equipment look like Gold's Gym Venice. Yet somehow, Sampson manages to build muscle and burn fat. Interestingly, when Sampson missed time at the gym recently because of a malaria outbreak, he merely quipped, quote, that's Africa. To read the full article on Kabila Sampson, check out spotmebro.com. Jojo de Faro made a huge statement when he placed third at the Dallas Europa Super Show this past May. It was his most significant IFBB Pro placing to date. In fact, nothing had ever even come close to this. Rather than rest on his laurels and ride the wave of that success, Nidaforo headed right back to the gym and put his head to the grindstone in secret preparation for this weekend's IFBB Chicago Pro. As he prepares in the last hours leading up to the Chicago, he had this to say to Muscle in the Morning. Quote, After placing fourth at the Dallas Europa, George Faro and I got together to discuss future plans, and we decided to team up to bring an even better package to my next contest. Prep has been awesome going into Chicago. George has fine-tuned some things, and I'm confident that we found the formula that works for my physique. I really hope to be in the first call-outs. Well, best of luck to one of the most improved bodybuilders of the 2014 contest season. And finally, on this country's 238th birthday, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers of this country. Quote, "The will of the people is the only legitimate foundation of any government, and to protect its free expression should be our first objective." And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs, the most hardcore bodybuilding supplements on the market. Check out ironmaglabs.com today. And for full quotes and Muscle in the Morning bonus features, join Muscle in the Morning's official Facebook page. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And remember to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.